I think because the semi-final, I'm sure, was December, and the cup final wasn't until, what was it, April. So there was such a long build-up and that excitement sitting in you. But that season, we had a really good team spirit. I remember the Christmas weekend away in Blackpool that Joe Cardo organised, and the team spirit we had that year was always good. It was a good changing room. Then obviously as you got closer to the final, when the cameras start coming, we started doing promos in Kirkcaldy High Street and interviews and that. Like there was a real buzz, and obviously because you're playing Rangers, it makes it that wee bit more special. And at Easter Road, a fantastic stadium, everything just built up to, like, arguably obviously the biggest day of your career, and it was just great to be a part of all that. But I do remember we went for a pre-match at a hotel in Edinburgh somewhere, and it was just totally different to what you were used to, and that sort of calmed the nerves and that. Because I'm sure we'd done our team talk at the hotel, now that I remember. So when we got to the ground, it was a case of just, we knew the team, get stripped, get out for the warm-up. It actually felt like you were playing at the top level because you're coming out in a massive stadium full. And I remember the warm-up and just the adrenaline it gives you. It's something you don't get from your Saturday to Saturday football. It was just something totally different, and to experience it was probably once in a lifetime for me, playing in front of a full stadium in a cup final. But again, I think things like that bring the best out in you, the sort of nervous anxiousness as well, with all the adrenaline going on. It's surreal, if you're being honest.
It does bring nerves, but obviously nerves are a good time. If you're totally relaxed and going into a situation like that with no nerves, then you're either one of the top players in the world, or you know, you're doing it wrong. So, like when I started playing football, obviously, as you know, you play amateurs and you play juniors, and like that's what you want to do. That's when you watch the TV and you're like, wow, I wish I could do that. Can I go to a settle out stadium and play in front of 25,000 people? You know, just to experience it. So when you get I look at it, when you get the opportunity to do so, then you've got to try and make the most of it. You don't want to go up in a shell, crawl up my shell, and not perform, and because it's like being 34 now and obviously coming at the end of a career, like these moments pass you by, you know what I mean? And if you don't grab them, then it's a wasted moment. So I just went into it and I thought I'll just obviously do as best as I possibly can and just soak up the atmosphere. And luckily enough, you know, we did well that day. And it's maybe the opposite when Rangers are doing well, and if they went 2-3-0 up early doors in that game, then it starts making a noise, it starts bouncing. You know what I mean? Then you can go into a shell and think this is going to be a tough 90 minutes. But we obviously kept that crowd quiet for long periods of that game. And they actually did the opposite happened. They started getting the back of the Rangers players. So we used it for us, you know what I mean? It maybe helped us a wee bit in that respect.
I can't go anywhere in the world. When I was in Australia there for 4 months in Melbourne, with somebody mentioning Raith Rovers to me about the goal, it's just one of those things. And I go to live my dream scoring against Rangers as a Celtic supporter in a cup final extra time, but it was because of Raith Rovers I can do that. So that's how I had that connection with Raith Rovers will always be there. The feeling after that is something that the adrenaline rush. See, going to win the league, I got it with St Mirren, I wasn't really much involved in it, but the adrenaline rush, people go about medals, trophies and all that other stuff. For me, it's the total adrenaline. I really love the adrenaline of winning games, and being able to be involved in that, see the build up to it, going up a cup final, that was, for the players at our level, that was us at Hampden in a Scottish Cup, and that was against one of Old Firm. It was, they actually thought they expected to win that. I remember I'm not going to mention the player, he said to me before the game, this is us, big game, this is what we've been playing all the lesser clubs, and he never said it in a nice way, he said it quite derogatory, and we'll just turn up and win the game. And I watch it all the time, they go all the time. My wee boy watches it consistently. I think it's like there's a 10-minute clip, he watches the full game, and he goes, "Dad, why are you trying to take your head off?" But I honestly felt that I could have ripped my head off when I scored that goal. And I always dreamt about running round the back of the goal at Hampden and running to the fans. But my family was sitting at that side, so I've ran round the goal away from them. I was that excited instead of going that way. But I've always had in my mind, it's a dream. All I can say, it's a dream, absolute dream.
It wasn't the most glamorous of football matches. We weren't creating 5, 6, 7, 8 chances and coming close. You know what I mean? And it's just, as I say, you're just waiting for that wee opening, that wee gap. And obviously, Mosney slipped on the grass and allowed and spun it in, and it just took off with there. You know what I mean? And then after that, I've never ever wanted a football match to finish quicker in my life.
Well, sort of, spread my feather or spread the wings and say, "Oh, look at me! I've lifted the cup for Raith," sort of thing. That's just kind of the type of person I am. But I think as years go on, and probably when I've retired and stuff, that the enormity of still only being 1 or 2 captains to do that is great. And don't get me wrong, it was an excellent personal achievement for the club, for the fans, for my family, for everything. It was excellent. So I mean, probably further down the line when you probably look back on your career, and I think we've touched on that before, that as much as it's the Ramsdens Cup, or that cup's not the most glamorous cup in the world, but at the end of the day, it's football. There's a lot of levels. I'm never going to play in a Champions League final, FA Cup, even a Scottish Cup final, that sort of thing. So there is that. It could be Joe Bloggs in the park playing with Sunday League in a cup final. It's still a massive thing to them. So that kind of worked through the levels, and at the time, and as a club at Raith Rovers, to win that, and playing Rangers at the time, which we did, was probably added a bit of magnitude to it. Of course, I'm not disrespecting the other teams, but if it was lower league teams, it would have probably not been as looked on as great an achievement. But it was a Rangers team. It was a good Rangers team who were firing through the leagues, promotion every year. So when you look back at that, and you touch on it quickly there, and we talk about it, it was a massive achievement for the club and myself. And then anything after that, it was great. The lifting the cup, the fans, the experience, it all, and then I think it's probably about 10 o'clock that night, and then the rest is a little bit of a blur. With the partying sort of O'Connell's in Kirkcaldy. But as I say, it was a great day and a great night, and something. Even when I see some of the boys now who are involved in that team, we talk about that day and night, and we got a wee trip at the end of the season and that with that squad that I talked about, that we had a great team spirit. So that it was a great year.
I remember I actually got quite emotional after the game for whatever reason, and I just remember obviously celebrating all the players and the staff, Wayne Henderson, Gunter, Paul Smith, and Grant Murray, and just obviously all your teammates, and you're looking into the stand, and at clubs like Raith Rovers and Alloy, you know quite a lot of the fans, and you get to know them, and some become friends, and just getting to share that moment with them. Then my family were up in the top tier, so getting to wave up to them, and I know they were super proud. So it was just all round. It was just a great thing to be involved in.
You play for like 5, 6, 7-year-old. You're watching Scottish Cups every Saturday. You see the build up in the telly. It used to be the build up for about 6, 7 years. And I remember I saw you run about the park, and I've had the opportunity because of this football club to do that. So when I finish, like mention people asking me all the time, when I actually stop, there's something to be remembered for. If you're part of any sort of job or anything, you always want to be remembered, because it means you've just floated in, floated out. If you're good at your job, I'm a painter now. By the way, get John Baird up to paint. He's a good painter. You're remembered for being a painter. That's what you want to leave a mark, whatever it is you're involved in. And to be able to do that with football, it's quite emotional, to be honest.